Bison may look calm from a distance, but when they charge, it's sudden and brutal.
Don't run into our car!
Holy crap!
From close calls to full-on attacks, these moments reveal just how quickly things can turn dangerous when wild instincts take over.
Oh no.
Whether it's tourists getting too close or bikers caught off guard,
Oh my god!
each clip is a raw reminder. Bison aren't just big, they're unpredictable. Today, we're diving into some of the most shocking bison encounters ever caught on camera. Kids' folly, taunting a bison. A group of kids in Yellowstone, eager to prove their bravery, spots a bison grazing near a trail. Ignoring their parents' warnings, they approach, giggling and daring each other to touch it. One by one, they pat its head, oblivious to the animal's growing agitation. The bison snorts, its body tensing, but the kids keep going, egged on by their peers. Suddenly, someone screams and panic erupts. The group scatters, triggering the bison to charge. Dust flies as the kids bolt in every direction, their bravado replaced by terror. The bison, seizing the chaos, chases briefly before halting, its point made. No one is hurt, but the scare is real. This reckless stunt shows why educating kids about wildlife is crucial. Bison aren't playground pals, they're wild animals with zero tolerance for foolishness. Parents, take note, keep your kids in check, or risk a lesson they'll never forget. Now it's time for today's hot topic. A female tourist in a national park in Central Africa approached a wild bison for a photo. Ignoring safety warnings, she got too close, triggering the bison to charge. The animal struck her with tremendous force, causing serious injuries including fractures and internal damage. The authorities later posed restrictions on tourists afterwards. Have you ever faced any sudden encounter on any of your wild tours? Share with us in the comments below. Tourist takedown, a bison's retaliation. A tourist in Yellowstone, emboldened by the park's beauty, ignores warnings and strides toward a bison grazing near a trail. He assumes it's safe, mistaking the animal's calm demeanor for docility. The bison, sensing the intrusion, charges without warning, its hooves tearing up the earth. A bystander, trying to protect the group, steps in and takes the brunt of the hit, stumbling but avoiding serious injury. The group scatters, screams echoing as the bison targets another person, its horns lowered. Quick thinking saves the day. A second bystander pulls out mace and sprays, deterring the attack. The bison retreats, snorting, leaving the group shaken but alive. This chaotic scene proves that bison don't tolerate disrespect. One step too close, and you're in their crosshairs. The tourist's arrogance could have ended in tragedy, and the bystander's bravery likely prevented worse. Biker chase, a bison's road rage. A group of bikers roars through bison country, their motorcycles gleaming under the midday sun. The open road feels like theirs, until a massive bison bull, grazing nearby, takes offense to their loud engines. The noise, a grating intrusion in the quiet plains, sends the bull into a fury. It charges, its hooves pounding the asphalt, and the bikers, caught off guard, gun their engines to escape.
Oh no.
The bull keeps pace, its massive frame moving with terrifying speed, its horns lowered like a battering ram. The riders weave, their hearts in their throats, as the bison closes in. A car ahead, filled with screaming passengers, becomes the bull's new target. The driver slams on the brakes, praying the animal veers off. At the last second, it does, distracted by something in the distance, leaving the bikers and drivers gasping for air. The terror lingers, a visceral reminder that bison despise loud noises and motorcycles are prime targets for their wrath. The riders' speed saved them, but the chase could have ended in catastrophe, a flipped bike, a crushed car, or worse. Road blockade, a herd's grand crossing. On a winding road in a national park, drivers encounter a sight both majestic and intimidating, a herd of bison crossing en masse. Dozens of these giants, each a mountain of muscle and fur, move with deliberate purpose, their hooves kicking up clouds of dust. Cars stop instantly, drivers knowing better than to challenge a herd that could crush their vehicles like soda cans. The bison flow across the road, their massive heads swinging, horns catching the sunlight. Some pause to graze, others snort and stare at the onlookers as if daring them to move. The sheer scale of the herd is staggering, hundreds of thousands of pounds of raw power united in a single, unstoppable force. Passengers whisper in awe, cameras clicking, but the mood is tinged with caution. A charging herd would turn these cars into scrap metal, and no one wants to test that theory. The crossing lasts several minutes, each second a reminder of who truly rules this land. Eventually, the last bison ambles off, and traffic resumes, but the memory lingers. This peaceful encounter is a masterclass in patience. When bison claim the road, you wait. Anything else is a recipe for disaster. Car window cuddles. A bison's bread obsession. On a sun-drenched day in a wildlife reserve, a man embarks on an open safari drive. His car a safe haven amidst the untamed beauty of the plains. The landscape is alive with movement, antelope darting in the distance, birds soaring overhead, and, most thrillingly, a herd of bison grazing nearby. Among them are playful calves, their small frames a stark contrast to the hulking adults. One calf, curious and unafraid, wanders close to the car, its soft eyes meeting the driver's. He reaches out, gently petting its snout, marveling at the texture of its coarse fur. But the mood shifts when a larger bison, drawn by the commotion, approaches. This isn't a calf, it's a full-grown adult, its head the size of a small boulder. Without hesitation, it shoves its massive skull through the open window, its 2-foot-long tongue sloshing around in search of something to eat. The driver, caught off guard, fumbles and tosses out a piece of bread, which the bison eagerly devours. Emboldened, the animal keeps probing, its tongue leaving a trail of slobber across the dashboard. As if that weren't enough, it invites a friend, and soon 2 bison are vying for snacks, their heads jostling for space in the car. The driver laughs nervously, trying to maintain composure as the vehicle rocks under their weight. The scene is almost comical, but the danger is real. One wrong move and those tongues could be replaced by horns. Stampede chaos. A herd's sudden surge. A peaceful afternoon in Yellowstone is shattered by the sound of thundering hooves. A herd of bison grazing calmly moments ago suddenly erupts into a stampede, spooked by an unseen trigger, a distant noise, a predator's scent, or perhaps nothing at all. Dust clouds rise like a storm as their powerful strides shake the ground, each step a testament to their collective might. A car, caught in the herd's path, becomes an island in a sea of fur and muscle. The driver, filming through the windshield, holds steady, heart pounding as the bison surge around the vehicle. Side mirrors are folded in a desperate bid to avoid collision, and the windows are sealed tight. The herd moves as one, a living wave of raw power, their horns and hooves a blur in every direction. The car rocks slightly as a bison brushes past, its flank grazing the fender. The driver's breath catches, aware that a single misstep could send the herd crashing through the vehicle. Passengers whisper prayers, their voices drowned out by the cacophony of hooves and snorts. The stampede lasts only moments, but it feels like an eternity. As the last bison passes, the dust settles and the driver exhales, the heart-pounding terror lingering like an aftershock. Home invasion, a bison house guest. A bison, casually strolling through your home, a sight for the sore eyes, right? But this isn't a hypothetical for one woman. It was her reality. The massive creature, its shaggy coat brushing against furniture, wandered in like an uninvited guest, sniffing everything from the couch to a trophy bison head mounted on the wall. The irony of the moment, real bison meets taxidermy, would be funny if it weren't so surreal. The woman, remarkably composed, speaks to the animal in soothing tones as if coaxing a pet cat. "Hey, big guy, let's not break anything," she says, her voice steady despite the absurdity. The bison, surprisingly calm, sniffs the trophy head, perhaps puzzled by its lifeless counterpart, before lumbering toward her. She holds her ground, heart pounding, as it inspects her with a gentle nudge. Eventually it wanders out, leaving scuff marks and a story for the ages. They're not aggressive by nature, but their size and curiosity make them a walking hazard. If a bison ever visits your home, stay calm, give it space, and pray it leaves your walls intact. A bison's gentle nudge. A couple on a motorcycle waits at the edge of a Yellowstone road, watching a bison herd approach. The animals move with purpose, their hooves clattering on the pavement. The couple stays still, their engine off, hoping to blend into the scenery. But one bison veers toward them, its massive frame casting a shadow over their bike. It bumps the motorcycle lightly, a gentle nudge that belies its strength.
Don't run into our car!
Holy crap!
The bike wobbles, but the damage is minimal. A scuff, nothing more. The couple holds their breath, aware that a gentle nudge from a 2,000-pound animal could have been far worse. The herd passes and they exhale, grateful for the minor scare. The bison's message is clear. Your ride means nothing in their world. Bullfight, a clash of titans. On a quiet Yellowstone road, the air grows heavy with anticipation as two bison bulls face off, their massive heads lowered in a primal challenge. Spectators in nearby cars watch, transfixed, as the giants prepare to clash. The bulls, each a fortress of muscle and bone, circle briefly, their eyes locked in a silent duel. Then, with a sudden burst of energy, they charge, their heads colliding with a bone-rattling thud that reverberates through the ground. Dust flies, and the onlookers feel the impact in their chests as if the earth itself is trembling. The bulls push and shove, their horns locked, their bodies straining with astonishing agility for creatures so massive. The fight is a spectacle of raw power, each movement a testament to why bison are built like tanks. The crowd watches in awe, some filming, others gripping their seats, aware that they're witnessing a ritual as old as the plains themselves. The clash ends as quickly as it began. One bull yields, retreating to graze, while the other stands tall, its dominance asserted. The spectators, still buzzing with adrenaline, drive away, but the memory of those thunderous thuds lingers. Tire popper and sudden shocker. These tourists also had a front row seat to a bison encounter, but this time the animal wasn't in a peaceful mood. As soon as it spotted their truck, the bison charged straight at it and rammed one of the tires, popping it instantly. What seemed like unprovoked aggression had a clear reason. It was nearing mating season. During this time, bull bison become extremely agitated and territorial, turning even the calmest animals into unpredictable powerhouses of rage. In another incident at Yellowstone, a massive bull bison reacted aggressively after being startled by a car that unknowingly approached from behind. The animal turned on the vehicle in a flash, showcasing just how quickly things can escalate when wild animals feel threatened or surprised. The key takeaway here is simple, but critical. When driving through bison country, keep your distance, your limbs, and your head safely inside the vehicle at all times. These animals may appear slow or uninterested at first, but that can change in an instant. The danger only multiplies when you're near an entire herd. A single bull is intimidating enough, but when surrounded by dozens of equally massive and agitated animals, the risk increases dramatically. Any sudden movement or noise could spark chaos. Throwing stones. A woman's reckless taunt. Some people seem drawn to danger, and this woman is a prime example. On a quiet road in a national park, she spots a bison grazing near some bushes. Instead of staying in her car like most would, she decides to get closer, weaving through thick vegetation. The bison disappears into the brush, but she presses on. Then, in a moment of stunning recklessness, she picks up an object, a rock or stick, and throws it at the animal. It hits. The bison spins around, furious, and charges. The woman runs, her screams drowned by the thunder of hooves. She barely makes it back to the car, diving for safety as the bison's horns miss her by inches. Onlookers shout, some filming, others frozen in disbelief. The bison retreats, but the message is clear. This wasn't bravery, it was a near-fatal mistake. Bison are wild, powerful, and unpredictable. They don't need a reason to charge. Provoking one is like lighting a fuse with no idea how long it is. Campsite curiosity, a bison's food raid. It's early morning at a Yellowstone campsite, where the scent of pine and coffee mingles in the air. Campers are just starting their day, some still bleary-eyed from sleep, when a massive bison wanders into the scene. This isn't a rare occurrence in bison country. Yellowstone's 6,000-strong population often ventures near human settlements in search of food. The campers, seated around a fire pit, freeze as the bison, its shaggy coat dusted with dew, sniffs the ground for scraps. Surprisingly, they remain calm, perhaps accustomed to these gentle giants grazing nearby. The animal moves slowly, its hooves thudding softly against the earth as it inspects a discarded wrapper here, a forgotten apple core there. For a moment, it's almost serene, a snapshot of humans and wildlife coexisting. But the mood shifts when a camera person, eager for the perfect shot, decides to get closer. The animal, sensing the movement, spins around, its eyes narrowing. In an instant, it charges, a short, explosive burst of speed that sends the camera person stumbling backward, heart racing. The bison's horns, curved and lethal, are mere feet away as it snorts and stamps the ground. The campers gasp, some reaching for their phones, others frozen in fear. Luckily, the bison halts, its brief display of power enough to make its point. The bison resumes its search, but the tension lingers, a reminder that these animals are not props for social media. Window snugglers, tourists overwhelmed. A group of tourists, including wide-eyed kids, embarks on an open safari expecting a fun day of wildlife spotting. Their car rolls through the plains, windows down to catch the breeze, when a bison herd appears. One bold animal approaches, its massive head filling the window as it demands attention. The driver, caught between amusement and nerves, tosses out a snack, hoping to appease the beast. The bison munches happily, but the gesture backfires. More bison crowd the car, their heads jostling for space, each one hoping for a treat. The kids, initially thrilled, grow uneasy as the car rocks under the weight of the herd. The parents' smiles fade, replaced by tight-lipped tension. The bison, oblivious to the growing panic, keep sniffing, their hot breath fogging the windows. The driver finally closes the windows and the herd disperses, but the family is shaken. What started as a cute interaction turned claustrophobic in seconds. Feeding bison might seem like a harmless way to connect with nature, but it's a dangerous invitation. These animals aren't tame, and their curiosity can quickly become overwhelming. This encounter ended without harm, but it's a lesson in boundaries. Keep your snacks to yourself, or risk becoming the main course in a bison buffet. The Roadside Showdown: Man versus Bison Bull. Imagine a quiet afternoon in Yellowstone National Park, where the air is crisp and the landscape stretches endlessly. Suddenly, traffic grinds to a halt as a massive bison bull, a behemoth of muscle and fur, saunters onto the road. This isn't just any animal, it's a living tank, standing 6 feet tall and weighing over a ton. The bull, unfazed by the attention, swings its head, horns glinting in the sunlight, as if daring anyone to challenge its dominance. Most people stay safely in their vehicles, marveling at the creature's sheer presence. But one man, perhaps fueled by a mix of adrenaline and bravado, decides he's had enough of the delay. He steps out of his car, chest puffed out, ready to prove his courage in front of the crowd. The bison locks eyes with him, its dark gaze unwavering. The man, undeterred, takes a few steps closer, grunting and waving his arms in an attempt to intimidate the beast. The crowd holds its breath as the tension crackles like static. Miraculously, the bison pauses, seemingly puzzled by the man's audacity, and takes a step back. The man stands his ground, heart pounding as the animal snorts and eventually turns away, lumbering off the road. The onlookers exhale, some cheering, others shaking their heads in disbelief. This guy got lucky, beyond lucky, as challenging a 2,000-pound creature could have ended in tragedy. Albino ambush, a family's rare encounter. A family sets out for a safari adventure, expecting a leisurely drive through a wildlife park. The kids are buzzing with excitement, noses pressed against the windows while the parents navigate the winding roads. Suddenly, a herd of bison appears, their massive forms emerging from the tall grass. Among them are rare albino bison, their pale coats glowing in the sunlight, a sight so uncommon it feels like a gift from nature. The family's awe turns to nervous excitement as the herd surrounds their car, their heavy breaths audible through the closed windows. The bison press close, sniffing the vehicle, likely hoping for food like the bread-loving bison before them. The kids squeal, half thrilled, half terrified, as a massive head looms inches from their window. The parents grip the wheel, aware that their compact car is no match for these giants. The albino bison, in particular, draws gasps. Its ghostly presence is both beautiful and intimidating. The animals linger, their hooves kicking up dust, as the family sits frozen, unsure whether to marvel or panic. Eventually, the herd moves on, leaving the car unscathed, but the family forever changed. They've witnessed a once-in-a-lifetime spectacle, but the encounter wasn't without risk. Bison, even rare ones, don't care about your vacation plans. This family got lucky, but their story is a reminder. When bison get personal, you're at their mercy. Keep your distance and savor the view from afar. Snowy standoff. Bison in the mountains. Deep in the snowy mountains, a group of snowmobilers cruises through a winter wonderland, their engines humming against the silence. The landscape is pristine, blanketed in white, until a herd of bison appears, their dark forms stark against the snow. The snowmobilers stop, their breath visible in the frigid air, as the bison observe them closely. These aren't the grazing giants of summer. They're winter-hardened, their thick coats dusted with frost. One bison, spooked by a scuffle within the herd, crosses to the group's side, its hooves crunching the snow. Panic ripples through the snowmobilers, who clutch their machines like shields. The herd moves closer, their heavy breaths steaming in the cold, and the group realizes they're surrounded. Two bison begin to tussle nearby, their heads clashing with a force that shakes the ground. The snowmobilers stand frozen, praying the herd passes without incident. The best advice in such moments is to keep your snowmobile between you and the bison. But what do you do when they're on both sides? The group holds their breath, their fear palpable, until the herd finally moves on, leaving them shaken but unharmed. This chilling encounter proves that even in the dead of winter, bison are a force to be reckoned with. Snowmobiles might feel like protection, but they're no match for a herd that doesn't play by human rules. Biker swarm, a herd's overwhelming presence. A group of bikers, leather-clad and roaring down a rural road, embodies the spirit of freedom. Their motorcycles gleam under the sun, engines growling with power. But their bravado fades when a massive bison herd appears, flooding the road like a living tsunami. The bikers stop, outnumbered 10-to-1 by creatures that dwarf their bikes. The bison, unperturbed, swarm around them, their hooves clattering against the asphalt. Some get uncomfortably close, sniffing the riders and their machines, their hot breath warming the air. The bikers, usually fearless, exchange nervous glances, aware that a single charge could send them flying. The herd keeps coming, an endless stream of fur and muscle, brushing past the bikes with unnerving nonchalance. One biker gets a close-up view as a bison's head looms inches from his handlebars, its eyes locking onto his. The moment feels eternal, but the herd eventually passes, leaving the bikers with pounding hearts and a story they'll tell for years. This encounter is a humbling reminder that even the toughest riders are no match for nature's heavyweights. Bison don't care about your reputation, cross their path, and you're just another obstacle. Petting gone wrong, a man's risky touch. In a quiet meadow, a man spots a bison grazing peacefully, its head lowered to the grass. The scene is idyllic, almost inviting, and he decides to seize the moment. Ignoring the warnings echoing in his mind, he approaches, hand outstretched, and pets the bison's flank. At first, the animal seems startled, its body tensing under his touch. It lifts its head, eyes wide, as if processing the audacity of this human. The man, perhaps expecting a docile response, keeps stroking, unaware of the danger he's courting. Then reality hits. The bison snorts, steps back, and shakes its massive head, clearly uncomfortable. The man, sensing the shift, retreats quickly, his heart hammering as the bison stamps the ground. No charge follows, but the message is clear. This isn't a petting zoo. Bison are herbivores, yes, but they're not here for human affection. Their calm demeanor can flip to defensive in an instant, and those horns aren't decorative. This man escaped unscathed, but his risky touch could have ended in a hospital visit. If you're ever tempted to get hands-on with a bison, let this story be your wake-up call. Admire from afar or face the wrath of a creature that doesn't appreciate your boldness. Campsite grazers. A herd at dawn. At a Yellowstone campsite, dawn breaks with a surreal twist. Campers stir in their tents, rubbing sleep from their eyes, only to find a herd of bison grazing around them. The lush grass, dewy and inviting, has drawn dozens of these giants, calves, mothers, and towering bulls. The scene is breathtaking, like waking up in a nature documentary, but it's laced with danger. The campers move slowly, whispering to avoid startling the herd. Mothers with calves are especially protective, and one wrong move could trigger a charge. The bison, oblivious to the human presence, munch contentedly, their jaws grinding in rhythm. Everywhere the eye turns, shaggy forms dominate, some so close the campers can smell their musky scent. The granddaddy of the herd, a massive bull, grazes near a tent, its horns glinting in the morning light. The campers know the stakes. Stampeding bison could flatten their campsite in seconds. They stay still, hearts pounding, until the herd moves on, leaving trampled grass and a lingering sense of awe. Sleeping among bison sounds thrilling, but it's a high-stakes gamble. One scream, one sudden move, and a peaceful morning could turn into chaos. This encounter ended safely, but it's a stark reminder. In bison country, you're a guest, not a ruler. Roadside majesty. A bison's close call. A driver cruises through Yellowstone, camera ready to capture the park's wonders. A herd of bison appears near the road and he stops to film, mesmerized by their majesty. One bison strays close, its massive body brushing the car's side. The driver's pulse quickens, excitement mixed with fear as the animal's flank grazes the fender. Its head swings, horns inches from the window.
No, put your window down.
And the driver holds his breath. Bison may seem calm, but a sudden tilt of that head could mean disaster. The animal passes, its tail flicking, leaving the driver with a racing heart and a new appreciation for their power. This close call underscores why slowing down or stopping is critical near bison. They're not just scenery, they're unpredictable forces that demand respect. One wrong move and your car could bear the scars of a bison's displeasure. Yellowstone stroller. Here comes a bison casually strolling through Yellowstone National Park, seemingly taking in the scenic views just a few meters from a couple standing nearby. It pauses to inspect a bridge and even a signpost, almost as if it's reading it. Remarkably, some have even witnessed bison climbing over fences with ease. Yellowstone is clearly a hotspot for these massive creatures, with around 6,000 of them roaming the park. The close walk. One group of tourists learned just how close these animals can get. They had stopped their car on a park road only to be approached by one of these tank-like giants. With a calm but powerful stride, the bison walked straight toward them. As it passed by, the side of their vehicle, heads turned, whether out of excitement or pure fear is anyone's guess. But one thing's for sure, it was a moment they'd never forget. As thrilling as it may be to witness such an encounter, these moments come with serious risks. One wrong move, especially from the bison, can turn a peaceful scene into a dangerous one. The key in situations like this? Make sure the bison doesn't tilt its head, because that's often the sign it's preparing to charge. Unfortunately, not everyone gets that memo. Some park visitors, caught up in the awe of the moment, fail to realize how quickly things can go wrong. Yellowstone's bison may look peaceful, but they're unpredictable, powerful, and should always be respected from a safe distance. Biker's paradise. A herd on the horizon. The sun dips low over a vast valley, bathing the plains in golden light. A couple rides their motorcycle down a quiet road, wind in their hair, savoring the rush of open freedom. On either side, massive bison graze. Hundreds of them, their hulking forms silhouetted against the horizon like a living Western painting. The sight is mesmerizing. The couple slows, eager to capture the moment, unaware that their bike's roar disrupts the natural calm. A lone bull breaks from the herd, its immense head lowered, eyes fixed on the shiny machine. Dust swirls around its hooves as it approaches, sniffing the motorcycle, breath steaming in the cool evening air. The woman clutches her partner, heart pounding. He keeps the engine idling, tense and alert. The bison circles, looming over them like a warning. One wrong move could mean disaster. They inch forward, barely breathing. The bull holds its ground but doesn't charge. As they roll away, relief washes over them. They were lucky. It could have gone very differently. Car challenge. A bull's misjudgment. A red car rolls slowly through Yellowstone, its driver scanning the road for wildlife. A bison bull grazing nearby suddenly lifts its head, its eyes narrowing. On edge perhaps from a recent challenge or the stress of mating season, it misinterprets the vehicle as a rival. The bull lowers its head, horns poised, and the driver's stomach drops, sensing danger. He presses the gas, hoping to slip away, but the timing is off. The bull charges, its hooves tearing up the earth, and rams the car with a sickening crunch.
Yep. Okay, get down away from the fence, you guys.
Likely leaving a dent in the bumper. The driver swerves, heart racing as the bison snorts and steps back. But the ordeal isn't over. A silver car nearby catches the bull's attention. Its driver frozen as the animal approaches, head lowered again. Quick thinking saves the day. The silver car's driver reverses slowly, avoiding a second strike. The bull, satisfied or distracted, wanders off, leaving both drivers shaken but unharmed. This encounter reveals a chilling truth. Bison, especially when agitated, can see vehicles as threats, their instincts overriding reason. Bison are powerful, unpredictable, and deserve serious respect. These encounters show how quickly curiosity or carelessness can turn into real danger. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: keep your distance. Nature isn't here for our entertainment. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more real wildlife footage.